Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. I I was thinking about this subject for a while, and I hear these and I read comments from people in various strings, message strings, and there's this thinking that for some reason, uh, if if it became necessary, or the government, regardless of which government you talk about, federal, state, or local, needed to suppress or martial law, like you see in the movies, right? Uh, point point the government's force deliverers, that's police, sheriff, and so forth, and then the federal government would point the military, which right now posse comitatus prevents. However, all those kind of things can be reversed if the government feels it's necessary. So the question is always: will military, will police fire on American citizens? Will they point their weapons toward American citizens? And I mean, whoever's asking that question, what are you, brain dead? Of course they do. Of course they do. Watts riots. I was there. I watched it. I watched them use Ma Deuce on the crowd. Yeah, these were National Guard people. Uh, Look at the 1968 Democrat convention in Chicago, where the Chicago PD beat the holy snot out of people. I mean, extreme violence against people who were protesting. Of course, law enforcement and military will point their guns toward citizens. Now, it gets really worse. Why? Because money talks, bullshit walks. Look what happened in every tyrannical government on the planet. They know they don't have enough soldiers and police to outnumber the civilians. So what do? They buy civilians. They buy them, and unfortunately, they end up buying the worst of them, gangsters, criminals, so forth, and they pay them. They pay them as mercenaries. They say, we're going to either deputize you, we're going to create this organization that's under the control of the government, but you're civilians, and we're going to pay you to join us. We're going to deputize you in some way. And even worse, we're going to encourage schools where your children are to have your children rat on you. Now, we already see something similar where the public schools are saying we're going to, when it comes to children who have gender dysphoria, we're going to let the young child, say they want to be referred to as something other than they are, and not tell the parents. We're going to say, well, we're going to keep that from the parents. And oh, by the way, if your parents try to force you not to do this, we're going to sick the police on them. So we're going to have the children rat on the adults. We're going to have neighbors rat on neighbors for a fee. Money talks, bullshit walks. So those of you that think that the civilians outnumber the government military, the government police, that is mathematically true. But when you start throwing money at people, all of a sudden you have the equivalent of the brown shirts. You have volunteers. You have neighborhood watch people who are now turning their eyes on their neighbors to rat on them. That's the danger. That's the danger. And people are, they're susceptible to that. They are. Especially today when it's hard. I mean, people are finding it hard to make ends meet. Your neighbor is not your friend. Your neighbor can be bought. Your children can be bought. Just saying. So, if you like the content of this channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon. I need 50 more people, and I'll hit 10,000. I'm so waiting for that to happen so I can have a party or something. As always, as I say, you know, wherever you can, whenever you can, however you can, carry on.